So I'm kind of doing a little bit of an update video on something that I covered earlier this past summer. Basically, just to do a brief FYI to get you all up to speed, earlier this past summer, it was announced that Sony bought about 95% of Funimation. And so, when you look at it, Sony now owned Funimation. This was covered, and I covered it, earlier in the summer. However, with the past, 30 so hours, it is official now that Sony officially owns Funimation. So, it's no longer being set in stone. They're no longer doing the paperwork, getting it prepped up. It is official now. Sony owns Funimation. So, automatically, if this is your first time hearing it, what does this necessarily mean? Well, number one, I believe the reason why Funimation most likely, probably let Sony buy it and all that, they kind of sold out to Sony, was most likely because of the ongoing competition with so many other organizations, different companies and stuff popping up into the anime industry. I mean, let's look at these big giants that are now starting to pop up. Netflix. Netflix has been showing a very aggressive stance toward wanting more anime on its platform. I mean, we know that the next season, the upcoming year of anime is going to have, mini Netflix original shows they want from anime studios. So, Netflix is being very aggressive, grabbing a lot of stuff, and in turn, that means that Funimation obviously can't grab these shows if Netflix is grabbing them. But then on top of that, you have, other companies like Amazon and, Anime Strike coming in, also grabbing up a lot of quality anime. And then you also have these other companies, competing with each other. And so basically, when you look at all these little details, it makes a lot of sense why Funimation probably sold itself to Sony. Because Sony is a big company. They're a worldwide known company. Many recognize the Sony brand, not just because of PlayStation, but just Sony in general, because they own a lot of different things. They're really big. They're a big company. And so, it feels like to me, the reason why Funimation probably did this type of move was to kind of counteract against what Netflix has been doing, Anime Strike from Amazon's been doing, and all these other companies. It's kind of like Funimation was saying, we need to make sure we have enough to be able to grab these anime and not lose out and lose our business. That's basically what was happening. Now, there is some concerns I overall have, though. One of the big concerns I have is the relationship between Funimation and Crunchyroll. Because, just a brief FYI, if you're unaware, Funimation and Crunchyroll, they're partners. They have a partnership. Now, obviously, we don't know probably every single nitty-gritty detail about the partnership, but I'm going to assume there's some form of, contract or whatever between them. But it does make me wonder, though, with Sony now holding the reins to Funimation, how will Sony feel about the contract or the partnership with Crunchyroll? And will Sony have any problem with that? Because I know for a fact Crunchyroll has different other affiliations with other companies and stuff that Sony probably doesn't really like. Sony's not a big fan of. And so it makes me really wonder if the partnership between Funimation and Crunchyroll might end in maybe a year or so. I'm concerned about that. I don't think it'll happen at this time, but it is something that is concerning. It could be a possibility depending on how Sony wants to take it. Overall, though, I do believe that Sony picking up Funimation is actually a really good step because, like I said, Funimation, it's a big company, but there's just no way it can compete with giants like Netflix and Amazon. There's just no way. You cannot compete with these giant companies. I mean, look, Funimation, they mapped themselves completely on the anime industry. They made it to where they're well known. Everybody that's an anime fan most likely has heard about Funimation, but that's the thing, though. That's anime-wise. Netflix and Amazon, they're known worldwide because of different things they sell or do, and so they're just a massive company that, honestly, someone like Funimation could never compete with. And so, when you look at something like this, it makes you realize that this is a good thing. Sony picking up Funimation is a good thing. There is some concerns, but overall, it is a good thing. So just tell me your thoughts. How do you all feel about this? I mean, with the recent events that's happened this past year, it's been rather crazy. So many things have been going on in the anime industry. I mean, Crunchyroll and Funimation's partnership was just insane. It was one of the most shocking things to see. And then Amazon finally dabbing into anime, basically, and, actually making shows, actually subtitling shows, and having it on their platform, even though they're not the best, streaming service, they are now getting into anime. And then Netflix, how they've been very aggressive with anime. I mean, we also have Hulu as well. So when you see these different companies, just coming out of the shadows and starting to kind of make anime more mainstream, you can just see that the entirety of this industry is changing. And so So, I wonder, I mean, in a couple years' time, anime might not be the same. It might be a very different, you know, overall industry compared to what it is today or the past couple of years. I'm really curious to see where it's going to go, but I just want to let you all know that. If you're unaware, it is now official. Sony owns Funimation. So let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about this? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Be honest in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe, and if you like my video, please leave a like. I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.